Alrighty guys, what is up? Welcome back to Cookie Clicker 2 with Lone Debater 7, and today we're just going to kind of do an update on our progress. So as you can see, we are currently at a base generation of 394.281 billion cookies a second. Our clicks are doing, if I turn off the auto clicker, approximately 23.65 trillion or billion per click when we click with our mouse, so that's pretty good. I have gone through and progressed quite a ways since the last episode, so we are now up to 1 chance maker and 3 prisms, so we're going to focus on trying to expand these numbers. We'll probably round our antimatter condensers off at 20, and yeah, kind of try to build up these two primarily just because they give so much more cookie per second for each one than these do. So like at the moment, antimatter condensers and prisms are fairly close, but that's because I have a bunch of upgrades in my antimatter condensers and none on my prisms yet. So once we start getting some upgrades unlocked for our prisms, which basically the way that works is you have to get 2 golden cookies at the same time. So like this base 7 times cookie per second production is pretty good. I have enough golden cookie upgrades, so I have all of them up through the one that costs 77.77 quadrillion or trillion. I think it's trillion, the 77 trillion one. I have up through the 77 trillion one on the golden cookie upgrade unlocks. So what that does is it doubles the duration of the cookies, and we have all the double frequency and stuff like that. So when I get these cookies that are like 2.5 minutes long, it's great because I generate a bunch at the 2 trillion, almost 3 trillion a second that the times 7 multiplier gives us on our base production. But in addition to that, usually a second cookie will spawn before that first bonus, before the 2 minutes 34 seconds is expired. Normally there will be a second cookie. Now it's not always another multiplier or a production bonus percentage multiplier cookie. Sometimes it's just a flat cookie drop one, but either way, getting the cookie inside that time frame, every once in a while you'll get this base times 7 multiplier, and then you'll get a secondary multiplier, which the best one to get is the 777 fingers clicking power, especially, well, for me that's the best one because I'm using a mouse macro, but if that one comes up with this multiplier, basically I can get like 100 quadrillion cookies, somewhere in that neighborhood, before the thing expires. So that would allow us to buy all the upgrades for our chance makers and prisms and stuff that we have available to us, and maybe expand a little bit. We also might be able to afford the next item, which I don't actually know what it is, but as you can see, there's still another building at 310 quadrillion and another one at 71 quintillion cookies. So quite a bit. But as you can see, we got another production multiplier, so we're doing 44.1 trillion per second right now, as opposed to just the 3 trillion that the base one was giving us. So until that base one disappears, we're getting way more, so we're able to scale in the quadrillion factor a lot faster. So that's kind of the way I have made so much progress lately, is by stacking these buffs. Up until you have the like 70 or 80 trillion cookies that you need, it's pretty slow going. Basically, you just keep expanding your most expensive building at the time. I believe it's the alchemy lab is kind of what neighborhood you're in around then. You can save up for time machines, but the alchemy labs and time machines make roughly the same amount. It's not like a factor of 10 scale difference, whereas it is between like a prism and a chance maker kind of a thing. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. That's kind of how I've been progressing. Not terrible, not terrible. As far as this goes, I do want you guys to let me know down in the comments if you would like periodic update videos like this, or if you would prefer me doing like live, this is how I'm actually buying the upgrades and when I'm buying them type videos, or just like overall tutorial videos or what have you. Let me know what type or flavor of video you would prefer. That way I can tailor the content more specifically towards my viewers' tastes. We just got another achievement for the 100. So at this point, the kitten multiplier that we've got on from our milk is quite significant, 279%. So it's worth our while to get as many achievements as possible to scale this percentage, which scales this percentage. So you know that you're going to get an achievement every 50 of a building that you buy. So Like this one, I have to buy 20 more banks and then we'll get an achievement. This one, I only need 10 portals and we'll get an achievement. This one, I believe there is an achievement at 10, so 7 more prisms will get us an achievement, and then 9 more chance makers will get us an achievement. But getting the achievements becomes way more impactful on your cookie total. So yeah, maybe building those 10 buildings won't give you a lot of cookie per second based off of the cost compared to like buying a prism or whatever. But since you get that achievement, it scales your multiplier percentage from your kitten upgrades that you have bought thus far to scale off your milk, because those scale off of achievements. So that's kind of the phase of the game that I'm in. You basically focus on hitting specific counts of buildings. So like getting our farms to 200 would be great. Gives us another upgrade, A, and then B, it gives us another achievement, which is good. And then also, since we have the cursor upgrades for the finger count, every time we add buildings, we scale the number of cookies per second our cursor buildings generate. So it is worth our while expanding the total building count a little bit here and there, just so we can go through and scale up our cursor cookie per second count, because it makes it work. Like, it scales how much cookie per second you actually get off the building. So like, you might be tempted to come over here and say, oh, these make 200,000 each, so if I get 10 of them, it's only worth 2 million cookies per second, which is nothing in this scale of the game right now, especially not for 1.2 quadrillion cookies, right? However, that building count increase gets you closer to another achievement. So if you break down the amount of cookie gain you'll get from hitting another achievement, it may be as high as like 200,000 cookie, or 200 billion cookies per second at this stage of the game for me is on average what I get when I get a new achievement in cookie per second production, as far as the boost is concerned. So it's quite significant. So like, hitting Chiefs is worthwhile, but it also will scale our cursors, which are doing actually quite a bit more cookie per second. We'll take a look at it after this golden cookie's done. I just want to fully farm out with the macro all of this. So see, we got just a standard cookie drop on that one, which is fine. It does help. It gives you a little boost to your total cookies, so whatever. But it's not quite as good as the multiplier. So you don't always get 2 multipliers at the same time. It is kind of like a random thing. Sometimes you get lucky and get the right ones at the right time. Sometimes you don't. So if you're actively playing through this part of the game, just expect to be here for a while, primarily because the scale of cost versus what you're able to produce in the first ascension is really low. So yeah, it takes a while to scale up enough cookie per second production for you to be able to afford these reasonably quickly. And if you're passively playing, if you take a break or you have to leave the tab open is the only thing. Like, it doesn't keep running when you close it, which kind of sucks. But if you leave the tab open running in the background, you'll generate some cookies passively off of this number, and slowly over time you'll get enough to afford things. But as you can see, it's taking quite a while for us to get 1,000th of a quadrillion. So yeah, and that's because 1,000th of a quadrillion is a trillion. We're not even at a full trillion per second yet, so it takes us more than 1,000 seconds per quadrillion cookies generated at this point. Now we could double our wizard towers. That would give us about 500,000 cookies, so I'm not going to waste the cookie on that. We could save up for the grandmas. That would be good because it'll scale our antimatter condensers off of the grandmas that we have, and we have a fair amount of these, right? So scaling that number of cookies from 8.2 to maybe, it might sit around like 8.5, maybe 9 billion if we're lucky per second. That'll be a pretty big increase from that upgrade alone. Getting another prism is pretty good. That's just outright, 12 billion cookies per second, I believe. If we're far off from a chance maker. Those are like 30 quadrillion right now, which takes us a very long time to generate, so we can't really afford chance makers. I got the right cookies at the right time, and I got a click frenzy one with not this cookie production multiplier, but I had like a production multiplier scaling off of my mines or something like that. But it was a like 1500% multiplier on my cookie production plus the 777 click power. So it was crazy. Like I had like a couple hundred quadrillion cookies or something like that banked up. I had enough that I could afford a chance maker, I could afford the 3 prisms, I could get up to 17 antimatter condensers and buy a few upgrades that were over the quadrillion a piece mark. So like the cheapest upgrade I have available is like 8 quadrillion. So I bought all the upgrades up through 8 quadrillion with that stack, which is worth it, I think, because all the buildings that I'm building right now are kind of at their max potential as far as the upgrades that are within reach without getting the proper golden cookie for us. So I think that's kind of how to play the game, just because, yeah, you could add the flat buildings and technically your production's higher, so you'll build faster, but I think it's better to scale the multiplier on the production of the buildings first before you invest the cookies into the buildings, just because the prices of the buildings increase so much quicker and their cookie production stays the same unless you unlock another upgrade, which requires an investment of an additional 50 of those buildings, whichever one it is, which is expensive because of the exponential scaling algorithm they use to price the buildings. So anyway, it's interesting. We can talk math all day when we're playing Cookie Clicker 2. It's basically what it boils down to if you want to get into the nitty gritty, but we don't need to do that. Let's after this golden cookie expires, we're gonna swap over to single buy buildings, and we might be able to afford a prism, which I feel would be a good investment, just because, like, we'll see what the price differential or what the spread is between our condensers and the prisms, and I'll show you kind of how to do that, and then we will pick which building we're gonna buy and buy the building. So come on, there we go. All right, so we're gonna switch over to single view here. So if we look at our condensers, they make 8.2 billion, let's just round it, 8.2 billion, and they cost 1.89 to build. Our prisms make 13.8 billion, and they cost 3.19 or 3.2 billion or quadrillion to build. So this is 3.2, this is 1.8, two of these is 3.6, and we'll give you 16 billion. One of these is 3.2, and we'll give you 13. Technically speaking, building a prism here is the way to go because it's more cost effective. So you know what? We will build one prism. And that leaves us with enough cookies in the bank if we get one of those cookie drop ones, like just a flat cookie drop golden cookie. It scales off of how much you have in your bank. So if you have a quadrillion in your bank, you'll get 100 trillion or more cookies off of that single one golden cookie, whereas if you have 0 or like 100 billion or a trillion in there, you'll only get like a trillion. So it's worth keeping a decent amount in your bank, and not to say that when I have 1.829 quadrillion I'm gonna buy this antimatter condenser right away. That's the plan, but like sometimes it's good, buy the more expensive one, leave the bank, roll up. That way if you get a flat golden cookie stack drop, you can invest that straight away into the cheaper building, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does, I don't know. But there we go, another frenzy golden cookie. Those are great. I know a lot of people think that, or well, you know what? I would love to know what people think the best golden cookie boost is. Now, my personal opinion on that is it's the 777 click frenzy one. So it's the one where you get increased cookies per second per click on the cookie. That's my favorite one because it has the largest multiplier number. But I'm interested to see what everyone else thinks. What is your favorite golden cookie to get in Cookie Clicker 2? Let me know down in the comments below, and in the next episode we'll take a look at that and kind of see how it's, what everyone thought and what the return is. Anyway, this is pretty good. We're almost up to our, we'll maybe end up with 3 quadrillion cookies after this one is over, or after the bonus is over. So that's not terrible. We'll see what we get for the second golden cookie that's likely to spawn before that timer expires. I'm hoping that we get a click frenzy one in here because I'd love to show that off in the episode for you, just because you'll know what to look for. Like, you'll know it when you get it, because whatever you normally make, so like we're making like 1 quadrillion, maybe 2 quadrillion off of each one of these frenzy golden cookies right now. When we get the click frenzy one, we'll be making like 100 to 200 quadrillion cookies off of one of the bonuses. So you'll be able to tell based off of how much you're getting. It's like 100 times more, almost. Or well, no, it is like 100 times. It is 100 times more, because the frenzy is 7, and then the click frenzy is 777, so it's 111 times more, I guess. So not like it's pretty powerful, I feel like, or it has the potential to be pretty powerful, assuming you're clicking the cookie, or can click the cookie relatively quickly, or have access to a mouse macro that'll click it for you, which is what I'm using. Please do not try to click your cookie this fast. I feel like you'll give yourself carpal tunnel really quick. You don't even have to invest. Like, mouse macros that will left click a mouse on a toggle at a given delay are free to download on the interwebs. Just find one, make sure it's legitimate, that way you don't get malware, and set that up, push one key, and kind of just watch the cookies roll in as your mouse clicks on the cookie for you. I'm running mine on a time delay, like my auto clicker on a time delay of 1 millisecond per left click action, and that I can't go faster than that, but I don't believe the web page, like if I set it to 4, it's the same. Like if I set it to 4 milliseconds from 1, it's the same as the 1 as far as how many clicks I get in, and I've timed it and like done the tests on that, so I know that setting it lower than 1 millisecond isn't going to make a difference, primarily because the web refresh rate for the game is higher than that. So if you can set your time delay on your auto clicker to 1 millisecond, you will be good for this. Like, it will click as fast as possible, but it won't lag it out. And that's, yeah, hopefully that makes sense to you. If you're looking at the auto clicker, there will probably be something that says time delay, and just make sure that it says 1 millisecond on that, and then pick whatever your toggle key you want, turn it on while your mouse is hovering over the cookie, and you're good to go. All right, guys, so we're sitting at 2.1 quadrillion. We're gonna buy our 19th antimatter condenser, which is pretty great. We're sitting almost like 433.5 billion cookies per second, which feels good. Like, that sounds like an amazing number, but the scale of cost for things for us now is in the realm of 1 quadrillion a piece or more. So yeah, it takes us over 1,000 seconds. It actually takes us more than 2,000 seconds per quadrillion if we're just doing the base cookie production and we're not playing actively and we're not clicking, it's just running in the background. It takes us approximately 2,000 seconds to generate a quadrillion cookies at this point in the game, which is crazy to think about. So like, that's a pretty long time. So yeah, to think about that, like, let's say we wanted 3 quadrillion. That's about how much we need for our antimatter condenser, right? So 3 quadrillion would buy us the condenser with a little left over. All right, great. So to generate that 3 quadrillion with just our base cookie production, when we don't have golden cookies, we're not clicking, we're not doing anything else, would take us 6,000 seconds. Now 6,000 seconds is, let's see, divide that by 60. So 1,000 divided by 10 is 100 minutes. You would have to let the game run for 100 minutes to generate the 3 quadrillion cookies it would cost to buy that antimatter condenser. Now, if you're playing semi-actively, where you click the golden cookies, it will go a lot faster. If you're playing semi-actively, where you put your mouse on the cookie and have an auto clicker running, it'll go a lot faster. But that's, hopefully that gives you some insight into how passive the game is when you get towards the later game. Like, I'm not 100% sure when the Ascension comes up. Now, I've played the original cookie clicker, and normally the Ascension starts when you're at this stage in the game. Like, once you hit the, almost a trillion cookie per second mark type thing, you're allowed to ascend. But I still, like, maybe I just am blind and don't see it in the menu, but I have not been able to find the menu that allows you to ascend in this version of the game. And it's a little bit aggravating because I know if I ascended right now, on the next run, we'd be able to afford all these buildings and it'd go a lot faster because the upgrades from the Ascension Pantheon are pretty good and make you scale way good in the second run. But I'm just waiting. So, like, I saved up the quadrillion to get the Grandma Research Facility, thinking maybe at some point that'll unlock the ability to ascend, which it may still do. They're still researching stuff. I haven't gotten to the Grandma Apocalypse or anything like that yet. And I still haven't bought all the buildings. So I'm thinking maybe I have to buy all the buildings. Maybe I have to get the Grandma Apocalypse going before I can ascend for the first time in this version of the game. Which, if that is the case, that's totally cool. I just wish it was a little bit clearer on where you're allowed to do it, you know? Like, I don't see it anywhere. Like, there in the stats it says cookies baked current ascension and cookies baked all time, which implies that there's an ability to ascend because it has the functionality to track your cookies baked in each ascension already, right? So they wouldn't build that unless they needed it, right? So right here in current ascension, all time. So this is your total, this is your single run, but there's no option here to ascend. If I scroll down sugar lumps, here's all your upgrades, here's your achievements and stuff, milks, list of achievements. I scroll to the bottom thinking, oh, maybe, nope, just hidden achievements. So nothing on the stats allows you to ascend. I've scrolled to the bottom here, scrolled to the top, scroll back down. Okay, there's no way to ascend there. Go into options, you can save, which I'm gonna do just in case. And there's an ability to wipe your save, but no way to ascend. So I don't actually know how to do it. So if you know how to ascend in this game, or what the, like, if there's a cookie threshold, let me know what that is in the comments. If there isn't a cookie threshold, and there's something that I'm just missing in the game mechanics, like a key that you have to push or something to ascend, please let me know in the comments so I can give that a look and share it with you. Anyway, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up here for today. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to like, comment, subscribe as always. And until next time, this has been Lone Debater 7, and we will see ya.